Hello everybody, this is Sloan with Not Lukewarm Ministries, and today I want to talk to you about a very interesting topic, Democratic Socialism. Now you all know what happened with the election in New York City. Since then, Democratic Socialism has risen to national prominence, but the question that we should all be asking is, what is Democratic Socialism? So, Democratic Socialism is an ideology that advocates for a socialist economy within a democratic society. There's a difference between this form of socialism and the socialism that was practiced by regimes in the past. And in the past, those regimes were advocating for revolution and violence in order to spread their ideals. But today, these socialists seek to use the democratic process in order to implement socialism within a democratic society. One more question we should be asking is, what is the appeal of democratic socialism? Many see it as an alternative to the current system, which many see as not working. What is the problem with the establishment according to the Democratic Socialists? There are many corrupt politicians on both sides who are only in it for the wealth and the power, and they don't really care about the common folk. And this is a recurring theme in both parties. And essentially, this has culminated in a political elite that believes that they're acting in American interests, but are ultimately only doing stuff that is detrimental to the American public. And now there are anti-establishment on both the left and the right, and these are the people who are calling out the establishment for what they see as wrong with it. And now, back in 2016, when Donald Trump won the election, that was the first major blow to the political establishment. And from that campaign, the MAGA movement was born. This is the movement that supports Donald Trump, and a large percentage of that movement consists of Christians. Now, because Christians make up a large percentage of the MAGA movement, it's important to consider the demographics of Christianity in the US. Now, I was actually looking this up on Google, and according to the response that I got, in the 1990s, 90% of people in America were Christians, but now it's only 62%. Not only that, but there's a generational divide within American society today, and there are many young people who are basically going to alternatives and are leaving the church. Now, it's very important to consider why they're doing this, and I do believe that within the church, there are many people who are elitist and are basically like hypocrites. So how does this connect with the rise of democratic socialism? Now, it's easy. The youth are looking for alternatives. Islam, New Age, Buddhism, paganism, all of the other religions, they're looking for alternatives because they see the mainstream establishment as hypocritical. Thus, they see many people within the church as hypocritical. But it's also important to consider that all of these other religions are not the answer. Just like how democratic socialism is not the answer, because absolute power corrupts absolutely, and if these ideologies gain a foothold, then they will seek to become the new establishment. Something that I want to bring attention to is that even though Christianity has been on the decline, there are certain denominations that are actually experiencing growth, like non-denominationalism and Pentecostalism are seeing an increase in members. And I've also heard that the Catholic Church is having a revival with young people going to the church. And I see that as a very good thing, and we need to constantly be seeing more growth within Christianity as a whole, because if the church continues to grow, then it will be more effective at achieving its mission, which is to fulfill the Great Commission. And now the Great Commission is the church's mission to preach the gospel to every creature and every person around the entire world. And the Great Commission does not stop until we've gotten the gospel throughout the whole world. And there's a lot of unreached people groups throughout the world who need to hear the word of Jesus. And instead of keeping the word to ourselves, we have to actually go out there and preach the gospel to them. And we have to not be lukewarm Christians, because if we continue to be lukewarm, then democratic socialism will gain an even bigger foothold in the nation. And even though it may start out as democratic, it would end up turning into the Soviet Union, because ultimately that is what socialism would end up doing. Certain countries that have tried out socialism include the Soviet Union, but also Cuba and North Korea, all these other places, and every time it's the same result. It doesn't work. So why would it work here? Now I hope you liked this video, and if you would, I would consider subscribing to the channel, leave a comment, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.